Few minutes to go. Okay, very good afternoon, everyone. We are beginning with the next concept of utility and demand analysis. In my last lecture or the presentation, we have seen what is meant by utility, what is a demand, and how do we analyze a demand. Further, we have taken definitions of Benham and G.L. Thickettle, and we have identified what are the various effective demand requirements. We have also dealt with in detail about the objectives of demand analysis, in what way the demand is useful or needed to be identified in the major perspectives. The different types of demand, that is individual, firm, autonomous, durable, short-term, joint, direct, indirect, and total or market segmented demand. We have dealt with in my last lecture with respect to the determinants of market demand, wherein it was been focusing on the explanation with respect to price of the product, income of the consumer, taste and preferences, advertisement, consumer expectations, growth of population, weather conditions, tax rates, availability of credit, pattern of savings, circulation of money, and the price of related goods. So if you have any difficulty at this stage, you can either drop the questions in the chat box or you can mail it to me. Now moving with the next topic or the next part of the presentation is the law of demand. So after understanding what is demand, what is the utility and what is the determinants of the demand, we have to look for a certain concern about understanding which law or what law of demand has been provided or how it is applicable. Always inverse relationship between the quantity demanded and the change in price. So whenever we are understanding or whenever we were dealing with the determinants of demand, what we were identifying or what we were seeing, that always the quantity that has been demanded. Now whenever I say that I want to purchase something, that purchasing something is always in terms of quantity. That is, if I'm purchasing groceries, it is always in terms of grams, kilograms, and so on. If I'm purchasing cotton or if I'm purchasing shirts, trousers, and so on, or the particular cloth, then it is always in terms of meter. That is one shirt, two shirt, five shirts, 10 trousers, and so on, or a particular cloth, that is in terms of meter, 1 meter, 5 meter, 10 meters, and so on. In terms of certain goods of a heavy weight, it is in terms of quantity or in terms of a certain weight. That is 1 ton, 2 ton, 5 ton, 10 ton, and so on. So in this way, we can identify about what a particular product is and how it can be valued. So the law of demand. So always what was a particular concern, that law of demand is specifically focuses on the relationship between the quantity that is demanded and the change in price. So as and when the quantity demanded increases or decreases, there is change in the price of that particular product also. Now, for example, if you purchase a certain commodity, that is if you are purchasing 1 kg, then accordingly the price for that particular product will be paid in terms of quantity of that 1 kg only. If you are purchasing 10 kg, then accordingly the amount that you will be going to pay is in terms of 10 kg. But this, in case of law of demand, in the general perspectives or at the macroeconomic level, there is a direct or indirect relationship between those two perspectives. So what is that relationship? Now let's look into it. The law of demand is been provided or is been given is by Dr. Alfred Marshall. So according to Marshall, the amount or quantity demanded increases with the fall in price and diminishes with the rise in price, other things remaining the constant. So other things, that is other terms and conditions, that is internal and external environment or the forces or the factors that have been associated, if they are remaining the constant, then what is the impact on law of demand? So the quantity demanded increases with the increase in price, increases with the fall in price, and diminishes with the rise in price. So the law of demand gives you certain consideration or a certain explanation about how there is a change in the quantity demanded. So the change in the quantity demanded gives you certain explanation about if the particular price of the commodity is been decreasing, that is fall in price. So for example, if you want to purchase, that is if your regular purchase of sugar, now regular purchase of sugar, if the rate of sugar is for example 35 rupees per kg, then accordingly on this particular average basis we'll be purchasing as per the requirement, that is 1 kg, 2 kg, 5 kg, 10 kg, and so on. Now if the price of the sugar starts decreasing, that is the standard rate of sugar was rupees 35 per kg and it gets reduced to rupees 33 per kg or 32 rupees or 30 rupees per kg. Now if the price of this particular quantity or the particular goods starts decreasing, what happens? Our quantity demanded increases. So why? Because our purchasing power is increasing and accordingly we can purchase an additional quantity of sugar in the same price that has been associated. So quantity demanded increases. So for example, if the price of the sugar earlier was rupees 35 per kg, now it becomes 30 rupees per kg, then what, at the rate of 35, how much sugar you can get? That is 1.2 or 1.1 kg sugar, accordingly that can be affordable in the rupees of 35. So in this case, The law of demand is been explained or is been explained by Alfred Marshall. Diminishes with the rise in price. Now the quantity demanded will decrease when it will decrease when the price of the commodity or price of the product increases. Now just take the example of petrol and diesel as on today, a live case study that is available for you. So in this case, now earlier, whatever the situation, that is when the price of the petrol was 70, accordingly as per the requirement, you were consuming that particular petrol or diesel. Now the prices had increased to rupees 80 to rupees 90 to rupees 100. Accordingly, your quantity demand for that particular product, that is the consumption of petrol or diesel, is also decreasing in that particular manner or in that particular fashion. So amount or quantity demanded. So whatever quantity that you are consuming of a particular product, it always increases with the fall in price and decreases with the rise in price. So if the petrol price is decreases, that is, for example, the petrol price come to rupees 50, accordingly, the more quantity of petrol will be consumed. And if the price of the petrol starts increasing, accordingly, the price, the quantity demanded for a particular petrol will decrease. Another example, you can a good example, that is the quantity of gold that has been consumed. So whenever you want to purchase a particular gold, today we have the gold value at rupees 52,000 per 10 gram, that is per ounce, and accordingly we have to identify how we can or in what quantity the gold can be purchased. Now if the value of the gold or the quantity of this particular gold starts increasing, that is if the golds become 60,000 per 10 gram, then accordingly your quantity demanded will also fall with the fall in or with the increase in price. And if the price of the gold starts decreasing, the standard rate was rupees 55,000 per 10 gram, and now the rate is rupees 45,000 per 10 gram. Now at this stage, what you will do, the people will go to the market and they will start purchasing the gold. Why? Because there is fall in the price and they are expecting that the price may rise in future, and accordingly to earn a maximum amount of profit, in order to recover that particular losses, the people are starting or they are trying to invest in this particular concern. So that is the law of demand that has been provided by Alfred Marshall. Now, what are the various assumptions to law of demand? So assumptions to law of demand, first thing, income level should remain constant. So over the period of time or over the course of duration, whenever there is a change into the market conditions, if either the quantity demanded increases or decreases, whether the price increase or decrease, the first assumption to the law of demand is the income level. That is, the income level of the people should remain constant over a period of time. So for whatever duration, for whatever amount of period that you are calculating, that is, you want to identify the law of demand, that is, you want to implement the law of demand for a specific period, that is 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, or 6 months, or for example, 1 day. For this particular concern, the income level of that particular individual for on whom or on which particular this particular person, the trial and error basis has been calculated, their income level must remain constant. So your income must not change. Today, if your income level is rupees 6 lakhs per annum, then accordingly for the next year also it must be 6 lakhs per annum, or to the entire throughout the year, the income level must remain same. Taste of buyer should not change. Now here the law of demand specifically focuses, now Alfred Marshall has specifically focused these particular law, take into consideration the consumable products or the durable, non-durable products that are into existence. So non-durable, that is the daily consuming products that we are looking for this particular concern, the taste of the consumer, taste of the buyer must not change. If the taste of the consumer or the preferences of the buyer for purchasing the goods and services is changing very oftenly, then at this stage the law of demand does not apply. Why? Because if the consumer is switching from one product to another product, we cannot identify, we cannot come into a certain perception about whether there is a direct correlation between the quantity demanded and the price that is being charged for that particular product. Price of other goods should remain constant. So at this stage, another perspective that has been provided is the competitor's price. So whatever price or the price of the other goods, that is substitute for your product that is made available, that also must remain constant. So if that particular substitute or price of the related goods or the substitute goods or the competitor goods is also available to your product category, then those products must also remain same, and it must not change over the period of time. No new substitute is been introduced. Another assumption to the law of demand that at this stage particular concern is there should be no additional substitute that is being introduced into the market. So if your product is prevailing into the market, if the your product is available into this particular market, so other product must not be introduced, and accordingly only those products must be accepted, and the new introduction of the product is harmful at this particular stage. So in this case, we have to identify about which product is prevailing into the market, which product is regulating or governing in this particular market, and how the market force is being regulated or governed with respect to quantity demanded in correlation with the price that is being charged. No future price rise. So no future price rise to be expected. So if the price as on today is, for example, 35 rupees per kg or rupees 50,000 per 10 gram, then accordingly there should not be additional increase in the price that is to be expected. At this stage, whenever you are calculating the law of demand or whenever you are implementing the law of demand, so at this stage the price for that particular calculation period must be stable and it should not change over a period of time. So we have to identify about what price is being afforded, what price is affordable to the consumer, how their income level is changing, how their taste, habits, preferences and consumption pattern is changing. And if their taste, habits and preferences or consumption pattern is changing, then the law of demand will not be made applicable. Price of the substitutes, that is, or the competitors, if your product is applicable or if your similar category of products are into use, then their price must also be stable and it must change. It must also not change as when the market situation changes. So these are the various assumptions to the law of demand. Now, demand schedule or the demand function. Now, here again the micro and macro perspectives comes into picture, wherein we have to identify the demand schedule with respect to the individual demand and the market demand. The individual demands deals with a specific purchasing power or the purchasing habit of an individual person. So if you are calculating or if you are identifying the purchasing power, purchasing habit or purchasing preferences of an individual person, then that particular function is called as an individual demand function. If you are calculating for the number of people or maximum number of people or a particular market as a whole, that is around 50 people, 100 people, 1000 people, 10,000 people and so on, then that particular concept can be called as an market demand function. So in hello,
मिक्सर गुड़ा रे मिक्सर
someone has unmuted themselves. Please mute. Hello. Hello. Okay, so demand schedule and demand function, individual demand schedule and the market demand schedule. In terms of individual demand schedule, we are focusing on a single individual and identification, or we are trying to calculate about how his individual person's need, preferences, requirement, purchasing power, capacity, and everything is being changing over a specific period of time for which calculation you are doing. The market demand schedule for maximum number of people, for large number of people, wherein the price, taste, habit, preferences of a particular market is been changing, and how the demand for a particular product is being changed over a period of time or the specific time period for which you are making the calculation. Now, applicability of demand curve. So here, as per the definition or as per the law that has been given by Alfred Marshall, here the price and the quantity demanded. So as per the definition or the law of demand that has been given, there are major two factors or two components, that is the components of the factors of price and the quantity demanded in terms of units. So price always calculated, that is from Indian origin, will be calculating in terms of rupees, and the quantity demanded in terms of units. So if the price is rupees 50, then 2 units are demanded. If the price reduces to rupees 40, then accordingly 4 units are demanded. If the price reduces to rupees 30, 6 units are demanded. If the price reduces to 20, 8 units are demanded. And if the price reduces to 10, accordingly 10 units are demanded. So what we are doing, we are trying to identify how the change in the pattern or the behavior of the consumption pattern of an individual changes. Good example, for example, if the rate of petrol is rupees 100 per liter, if 100 per liter petrol is available, then you may purchase or you may consume 1 liters of petrol. If the rate reduces to 90, then accordingly your consumption may go for 1.1. If the rate reduces to rupees 50, then your consumption may go to 2 liters. If the rate reduces to 10 rupees per liter, then accordingly your consumption may increase to 10 liters per day. Accordingly, the quantity demanded also decreases or increases as per the change in the pricing of that particular product. Now, bringing this particular quantities or the graph, these particular amounts on the graphical scale on x-axis and y-axis, we can see the quantity demanded is on x-axis and the price of the product is on y-axis, wherein 2, 4, 6, and 8, and 10. So accordingly, the demand curve can be identified. So, and the price of that particular product, that is 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. So in this case, we can see there is an inverse relationship between the quantity demanded and the price that has been prevailing for that particular product. So if the price decreases, the amount of quantity demanded increases, and if the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. So inverse relationship between the price and quantity that is demanded. Now, what are the various factors wherein why we can identify, or why do we need to understand that demand curve is sloping downwards? Now, here at this stage, what you can see, the demand curve is sloping downwards. So from where or which point the demand curve has started? The demand curve has started from a particular point where the quantity demanded was 2 and the rate of the product was rupees 50. Yes, the rate means the price of the product was rupees 50. Now from 50 it has reduced to 40, from 40 it came to 30, from 30 it came to 20, and from 20 it reached to a certain point that is at 10 rupees per of quantity, and 10 units of quantity is been demanded. So in this case we can identify that the demand curve is sloping downward. Now it has been sloping downward in terms of price as a major factor. So from 50 rupees it is moving to 10 rupees, and in this case what happened, the demand curve is at a certain position, at a certain stage, that the position or the movement of the curve is in a downward position, whereas in case of quantity demanded, the quantity demanded position is in a horizontal way, wherein the quantity demanded is always increasing. Earlier the quantity demanded was only 2 units, now it has become 4 units, now then it becomes 6 units, then it becomes 8 units, and lastly it has come to a position of 10 units. So in this way we can see about how the quantity demanded increases, and there is a direct correlation between the quantity demanded and the price that is into existence. So why demand curve slopes downwards? So earlier slide was explaining you about the demand curve is sloping downwards. Now let's understand about the perspectives about why demand curve is sloping in a downward position. First thing, the income effect. So major concern that can be identified at this particular stage is the income level of a particular individual. So if your income either increases or decreases, accordingly your quantity demanded also increases or decreases. For example, if your income is same as on today, but the price of the product keeps on changing, that is your income for a particular month is rupees 50,000 per month, and accordingly within this 50,000 you have to manage all your expenses. Now if you want to manage all your expenses within the range of rupees 50,000, and if the price of the commodity keeps on increasing, what will be the concern? Your quantity demanded will start decreasing. That is, if for example your consumption pattern, that is your expenditure, income is rupees 50,000, your expenditure is rupees 40,000, and accordingly the saving that you are making is of rupees 10,000. Now your total expenditure is rupees 40,000, and at this particular 40,000 stage you are consuming entire grosses or entire commodities that have been required for a particular month are affordable or are sufficient for a month of period of time. Now, if all the prices of the particular commodity starts increasing, that is the grosses also increase, the other durable, non-durable, direct, indirect product that have been required, it completely starts increasing, and the pricing or the valuation of this particular goods goes at rupees 60,000. So here your income level was rupees 50,000 and the expenditure goes to rupees 60,000. Then what you will do? You will start reducing the amount of quantity that has been demanded. So earlier, if you were purchasing 10 kg of sugar, now you will be purchasing 7 kg of sugar. Earlier, if you were purchasing 25 kg of wheat, now you will be purchasing 15 kg of wheat. And according